Well, hello again to all the boys and girls out there in YouTube land. The Bitter One back at you today with another one. And that's usually not my intro. That's actually John and Nelly's intro. He usually likes to spit at people. Every time he reviews a beer, he's also known as Georgia Beer Reviews on YouTube. And I just want to use that as a segue into some shout outs. John, you're one of my favorite beer reviewers. I think I've watched you the most out of all the beer tubers out there. Keep up the good content. I'd like to shout out Jerry Fort, the beer review guy. He was my first ever subscriber. He's the most genuine person I've ever come across on the internet. He doesn't care what you think. He's going to review whatever he feels like. He doesn't even review beer half the time. He reviews, he'll go into the grocery store, load up a buggy, and review it from what it just, appears like. And I think that's fantastic. I think we need people like that on YouTube. He's a voice of the people. And then there's Ron Ontario from southeastern Louisiana. I can't say his Cajun French mantra that he echoes at the end of every video, but Ron Ontario seems to have the biggest sub base on YouTube, but that doesn't mean he's a jerk or anything. I really admire his opinions on things. I really get a kick out of him being a hardcore Tulane fan, and whether Tulane is winning or losing, he's wearing some kind of Tulane merch on the occasional beer review. I'd also like to shout out Matt for Massive Beer Reviews. He seems to be the most in tune with the industry. He seems to try all the trendy beers I want to get my hands around. I love his background and the desk that he uses to review beers on. I actually was inspired by his camera angle, and that's why I chose the camera angle that I review from Matt. So you're definitely an inspiration, Matt. And then there's the Beer Patrol. I don't know his real name. I don't think he discloses his real name. I don't disclose my real name on the internet. But yeah, he's from New York, and I just respect his mind and his vocabulary, and he gets real clinical with his reviews sometimes. I think he's a real smart dude, and I respect him. He's also funny. He's not pretentious like I'm making him out to be to people who haven't watched him. And then there's John H. Pierre. He's kind of more of a blue-collar guy, but I like it. I'm more of a blue-collar guy myself. I'm not polished. I don't have an HD camera I'm reviewing on. I love his beverage rambles. He's from down there in Mobile, if I remember correctly. He's a fellow Alabama reviewer just like me. And I really look forward to watching John H. Pierre. And there's a couple other guys. I don't have their names on the top of my head. I will mention Eclipse Brewing. He's subscribed to me. And I appreciate every sub that I get on the channel. None of you have to subscribe to me at all. But Eclipse is a home brewer from Seattle, and he's got some really interesting videos. I feel like I've learned a lot from Eclipse Brewing as far as home brewing goes. And then there's Bumpy Road Brewing. I've seen him appear in Stout Sunday with John and Nelly, and I've seen him on Fandango Friday with Ron Ontario. And he takes more of a BJCP judge approach to his reviews, and that's cool. That's great. I'm aspiring to be a BJCP judge, so maybe I need to get into the groove of filling out score sheets and taking notes and things. So yeah, I'm missing a couple people, and I'm going to save one shout out at the end. But yeah, let's get into this unboxing. And what are we unboxing? We're unboxing, you guessed it from the description below, the title of the video, the Chimay 4-pack. I don't know what to call it, the Pierre Trepistries or whatever it's called on the box. It comes with these 4 beers you can see on the box, and the Chimay chalice. I've already opened this up, but you know, you got the front of the box here, you got the side of the box here. I believe, what does this talk about? I think this is just some quick promotions for Chimay. This, I would gather, talks about the 4 beers kind of more in detail. And then this talks about the Trappist label. That's so important. This Trappist label you see means that it was brewed on site or near a Trappist monastery, and the production of the beer was overseen by a monk from the monastery in a portion, either 100% or just a portion of the profits. I'm not sure which one. But they have to be donated to charity. So that's what makes it a Trappist product, not necessarily the style. It doesn't have to be a Belgian quad or a Belgian double to be a Trappist beer, contrary to popular belief. Now, what do you get in the box? Well, I've already explained it to you. But for the sake of unboxing, let's unbox it. You get this Chimay chalice, of course. Just a standard chalice, in my opinion. I really do like it, though. I feel kind of fancy, you know, holding this thing. I can't wait to review Chimay beer in my chalice. I got the gold rim that comes. It seems to be pretty standard with Chimay, not Chimay, with Belgian beers, anyways. I'm going to do this in a specific order. I know I just grabbed that out, but you get the Chimay Doré. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I'm a dumb Alabamian. I have a southern accent that is pretty harsh for certain pronunciations. But I read that the Doré is what the monks use for sustenance. It's common practice as a monk to go on fast or go days without eating anything, so they need some form of sustenance while they're staying true to their fast. And this is a way they can get some nutrition. Now, it's not a non-alcoholic beer, contrary to what you might think. It is 4.8% alcohol, so monks can get drunk off of this. Next is the Chimay Premier. This is their oldest beer. I don't want to say their flagship, but it's their oldest beer. I'm not even sure if it's their first beer they ever brewed. But again, their oldest beer. Based on what I've found, I'm not sure what style it is. I'm not even sure what style the Doré is. I think the Doré is just a regular dead ale, as they call it. It's not supposed to have a lot of flavor and aroma and all that stuff. It's mainly just for getting nutrition. And then we have the Chimay Saxons. C-I-N-Q-C-E-N-T-S. Cinq cents is how I would say it in my Alabamian English. I'm not sure what style this is either, but that comes in at, I want to say, 8% by volume. So none of these beers are all that sessionable, except for the one made for sustenance and not necessarily getting drunk off of. And then last but not least, we have the crown jewel of Trappist beers, the Chimay Grand Reserve. And it is 9% by volume. I do know the Chimay Grand Reserve is a Belgian quad, and it is supposed to be one of the best beers in the world. I did have St. Bernardus ABT 12, Abbott 12 recently, and I do have a video of that Abbott 12. That was a Belgian quad. It was fantastic. So I'm just excited to really try this beer. So this is what you get. Oh, and then one last thing in the box. I've already opened this up. I knew it was in there. But if you are dying to get an idea of what it says on your 4-pack, you know, you can't read German, you don't understand German like me, there is like an English-sided pamphlet that comes with the box. It tells you a little bit about the beers, it tells you about the history of Chimay, I think it even talks about Trappist beers in general and what makes these beers Trappist. So that's a pretty cool little pamphlet, cool little accessory that comes with this. Again, I'm going to be reviewing each of these 4 beers over the next couple of days. I'm going to save Chimay Grand Reserve either for Christmas Eve night or Christmas Eve day. I can't decide if I want to do some kind of a special day for Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, where I want to pump out more than one video. I want to do a couple reviews for Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, and this will be one of the beers I'll be reviewing in that series. I might even do these beers after Christmas. We'll just have to see. I definitely want, since this being their oldest beer, I definitely want to try this pretty soon as well. But yeah, this is what you get, the entire Chimay production line with the chalice and that accessory. I paid somewhere between $25 and $30 for this. I think personally it's a good value on the fact that I'm drinking every single beer Chimay makes. So, you know, in one fell swoop, I was able to take home the entire production line of Chimay, and that's pretty cool. Now, as I'm packing up my box, I want to give a shout out to my longtime best friend from high school. I've known him since high school. He goes by the name of Juice. It's been his alias since he was a kid. He just started up his YouTube channel, Juice's Brew and Que. He's a competitive barbecue cooker. He is an amateur, no offense to Juice if you're watching, but that doesn't mean he's not good. It's very damn good barbecue, and in fact, he's the reason I'm so picky about my barbecue now, and it's hard for me to enjoy franchise and chain restaurant barbecue now. I'd much rather prefer backyard grilled, just good old slab of meat on the grill barbecue versus something I'd have in a restaurant. And he's part to blame because he makes some really good food. But yeah, remember his YouTube channel, Juice's Brew and Que. I think he's going to have a unique take on beer reviews and barbecue. He's going to be mainly focusing on pairing beer with barbecue. So I think that's pretty interesting. He's already talking about pairing CBS with a cocoa rubbed beef brisket or maybe a beef steak. So that'll be real interesting. Check it out. He does have that CBS formal review up. Pretty good stuff. And usually I have a beer and I sip it while I end it, but I don't have a beer with me. So we're just going to end it here. And until next time, guys, cheers.